Hey guys, it's Guy and Zach. We are very, very excited about the new warehouse we're moving into with Austin Beer Works. It's gonna have a retail store and an 18-hole disc golf course.
We've been pretty fortunate that Austin Beer Works invited us out to kind of build out this project. We think it's going to be the home for Austin Disc Golf. As he said, we're going to have an amazing 18-hole disc golf course. We'll have a pro shop. We'll have the warehouse on site. Austin Beer Works, if you know them, they run great events. They have some of the best beer in the world. We couldn't be more excited that they're including us in this opportunity.
So let's go check it out.
You guys want to go for a walk, check out the new property? All right, let's go.
Okay, dudes, so for those of us out there not aware of the kind of early history of Mint, what's the story? How did it start? Where did it start?
So for people that don't know, me, Guy, our other partner Chris Herbert, we actually started Mint back in 2015. We were running a putting league over at the old Red Shed Tavern. Insert a little picture there or something. You know, we got a good camera guy. He can do that.
Lounge now.
Yeah, I think it's now the Far Out Lounge. But we decided to just let's start making discs. And then it took us about 2 years to really build the brand, and we did it from literally $0. So it's been cool to really we spent 2 years developing it, and then 2017 we sold our first disc. And you know, for the first 3 years of that, we were basically inside of Guy's garage, you know, selling a bunch of Frisbees, maybe 400 square feet of warehouse, you know, quote unquote warehouse that we shared with his family. So we made the most of it while we could, because we had day jobs. You know, me and Guy and Chris all had jobs and families that we had to take care of, and it's been, up until last year, it was kind of a 5-year grind of just doing it for free to get to this point. So.
And what was the original impetus? You're both just passionate about disc golf. You're good at it, I assume, and you just thought, man, I think I could do this better or well. Or
I talk about this a lot. Like, a lot of times people are like, let's do this, let's do that, and then you have someone step in, and I think it was Chris. We were standing there like, let's make discs. Yes, let's make discs. But Chris goes, hey, this is a moment. Like, if we really want to do this, let's put our feet forward and actually do this. And that kind of became the catalyst that really propelled itself.
We were pretty lucky that I had experience working at Disc Nation for a few years back when we had a big distribution business. Chris owned, you know, he's owned a couple businesses, so he's had experience. And Guy's worked in, you know, retail and all that his whole life. So we felt like we had a pretty good team, and we had enough disc golf experience to really jump in and figure it out and kind of know where we're going once we got there. And for us, we knew the love and support that we had here in Texas and in Austin. So as long as we had that, we knew we couldn't really fail, because, you know, our hope was everybody here would trust us. So
dope. Let's keep walking.
Cool. Yeah,
let's keep checking it out. Tell me about this property. Generally, what does it look like, and etc.
So, as y'all can see, you can probably do some panning. This property was purchased by Austin Beer Works, who's one of the biggest, I think one of the best disc golf kind of brands and breweries in the world. You know, they purchased it earlier this year with the intent to kind of build a dream location. And they've been kind enough to include us in that vision to build a really kick-ass disc golf course. I think we're gonna have at least an 18-hole championship course designed by Mike Olse. As you can see, it's pretty heavily wooded. There's a lot of terrain and elevation. We've got Walnut Creek on the property too. So it's I think gonna be a one-of-a-kind kind of, you know, home for Austin disc golf that hasn't existed yet.
So the previous owner of this property actually rebarred in all these railroad ties that make a walking trail around the entire property. You should take a look at it. It's really interesting. Through here, they're a little bit decayed, but on the other side of the property, they're really nice and intact.
So, do you think will some of these trails serve as kind of the basis for some of the course design?
Possibly. I think it's at least the course will exist inside the trails, if that makes sense. So it allows easy access to the course and to the rest of the property there's gonna be all kinds of other patrons out here just walking the trails. So even if you're not a disc golfer, it's gonna be awesome for if you live in Austin or in this area. It's pretty soft ground. There's a lot of rocks here, but for the most part, it's pretty soft soil. It's old farmland, so it should be a pretty great place to play disc golf and not destroy your disc.
Yeah, a little bit down the trail, the neighbors have actually cleared the property, and you can see what this is gonna look like.
Teaser. Okay, let's talk about, so you gave us the kind of the early history working out of a garage. It sounded just like Apple, Steve Jobs story, right?
Yeah, I think people don't know that really from 2015 up until about 2021, this was really a side kind of part-time job for all of us. And then in 2021, we finally were able to start paying ourselves. A lot of that was the growth of really everything that happened during the pandemic for disc golf. It was COVID and the pandemic was awful for a lot of people. It was actually a blessing for us. It allowed us to pay ourselves for the first time, to hire some employees. We moved into our first warehouse. So that was only, a year, I guess almost 2 years now since we moved into our first warehouse. And even in the first 6 months of that first warehouse, we had to double the size of it within 6 months, just with how fast everything was growing. So the last 2 years what we've done the last 2 years is probably 4 or 5 times what we did in the first 5 years, if that makes sense.
So I think there's a lot of people in the disc golf world, myself included, who have this dream of like making a living in this sport, be it playing or filming or whatever it is. But I imagine, I think we've all heard stories of pros like making that jump and putting all their savings into a van and, saying, oh man, I'm putting my living on playing this game well.
Yep.
That's got to be pretty scary, I would imagine. And so I want to ask for you guys, what was that conversation between the two of you of like, are we ready to go full time on this? Are we going to commit? Are we like?
Yeah, he's going, Zach, let's go. We're ready.
He was ready.
I'm ready. You ready?
And in my brain, it's always been we're both kind of people, the more we have on our plate, the more we tend to be productive with that time. So I think we both knew we just had to make it work. If we wanted to do it, you can't just do it part-time for forever. You've got to go all in, and if you can't make a living out of it, you can't help other people make a living, you can't make your community better, then it's not worth doing. But you don't know if it's worth doing unless you get out and try. And I know it's hard, but as two people that have, it sounds probably more cocky than it is, but to build a company from, literally $0 and turn it into what it is now is, proof of that. So.
Dope.
Nope.
Good answer.
What about you guys, as far as having a family? What did your family think about your, have they known you're kind of 100% into disc golf from the beginning, or were they hesitant?
Well, I met my wife, and that year was a rainy year. And then the next year I started playing as I usually did, and she was like, oh, you do this every day? And I was like, oh yeah, every day. But I actually had my first kid 2 weeks before we launched. So I'm giving the baby bottles and I'm running packing orders in the middle of the night. I've been burning the candle at 3 ends for such a long time. Such a blessing. It really was. And it is.
Yeah, shout out to Carolyn and my wife Jessie for putting up with it all, because they have let us give our lives to, do this. So
Awesome.
Love y'all.
Here's the teaser over here behind you.
Oh yeah, if you look over there, that's what it currently looks like. That's how wooded this is. You can see it's a mix of like oak trees, cedar trees. You got some elms in there. There's some pecans and other stuff down on the property, but then that shot we just showed y'all that's all cleared out is what it will look like when we're done.
Wow, dude.
Beautiful, right?
Yes. Dude, my brain is just drawing like infinite lines through these trees,
And mind you, look at how tall those trees are.
Okay, so you got this brand new disc company kind of in Austin, just a couple molds. What was it like growing a fan base? When did a fan base arise? When did you realize you have one?
So when we first launched, I will say we're at the point now where we're not as nervous when we have a new release. The first, I don't know, 2 years, every time there was a new release, we were like, is this the day people stop supporting us? But we were very lucky that from the start we threw was it Disc Nation? We threw a big party when we launched, and we gave away like free food and all this. And I think we had, I don't know how many hundreds of people show up at Disc Nation, and that was the launch day. It was the first day. Nobody had thrown our disc, nobody had done anything, but all of Austin showed up to support us, just really because of me, Guy, and Chris. So that moment when that happened, we knew, okay, at least we always have these people who are here and support us, and know we're trying to do the best. So
that made a big impact.
Yeah.
I mean, it catapulted us knowing to take care of everyone around us.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing is, so I had run a putting league for years before we started this company. And this is a big shout out for Live Oak Brewing over there. When we started Mint a couple years in, we moved that putting league over to Live Oak. They've been a huge part of what we've become. They've kind of been our home away from home. When you look at other courses, like you got Moody's disc golf course, you got the ranch now, like those have all been places that we could get to know the people that support us, that we could give back to them at the same time. So without those places, and we're never going to stop supporting those places. Without those people at those, at the ranch, at Moody's, at Live Oak Brewing, we couldn't be who we are without that. It's been a big part of our...
The whole Live Oak Brewing just started from a small business Saturday. And by the end of the day, the head brewer was like, hey, we should get some custom stamped discs. And I was like, yes, you should. And that relationship just organically grew into what it is now.
I think a large part of their business there is now disc golf. So thank you for supporting. If you've ever bought a Live Oak disc and all that, you're helping them, you're helping us. Austin has it pretty nice that we have a bunch of amazing breweries that also support disc golf. And those two go hand in hand, and it's, couldn't do it without them.
Cool. And on that same note, so talk about the excitement of having a permanent space tied to a brewery so that you get the enjoyment of actual playing disc golf, but also the space to hang, space to have a beer. And
well, the most exciting thing is going to be the release days. You're going to get to be able to come to a brewery for the release day, have a beer.
We'll open the warehouse for those days, so you get to come check out the warehouse and see everything. That's probably our most requested email is, hey, can I come stop and visit the warehouse? And in the future, we'll have the storefront, and then we'll have these warehouse release days where people can come out, and it should be a disc golf Candyland.
And how does a local pickup for retail orders sound?
Yeah, come pick up in store. I'm sure we'll be doing the putting leagues and ace races and all that stuff too, all the stuff that we've always done. So there should be something with disc golf happening here every day, either with a store being open or course being available to play, and then tournaments on the weekends if we can. With being attached to the brewery and the bar, having our store as part of that allows people to come out if there's a big pro tour event, like we can come have watch parties and do all that. So it's going to be a really, I don't know, I'm still amazed that Austin Beer Works is introducing us to all this and giving us the opportunity. Yeah, so I think it's every disc golfer's dream to kind of have your own property, your own course. For us it was, how do we get a store, how do we get a course, how do we get our warehouse? And it seemed really, if you live in Austin, that's super unrealistic to actually pull off.
We were fortunate enough to have the relationship of knowing Mike Graham with Austin Beer Works. I've known him 15 years. We used to play minis together at the old Pease Park. And as soon as he started Austin Beer Works, I was so excited for him, but he almost disappeared off the map. And we now see what he's been doing for all these years, and now he's giving back to disc golf tenfold, and we're just so excited.
Yeah, what Austin Beer Works is potentially doing for disc golf, and what Mike has included us in, is we hope the most special thing to ever happen in Austin and really in Texas in terms of disc golf. it should be the ultimate destination and playground for all of us. So thank you, Austin Beer Works.
So 18-hole course, got this great property, elevation, wooded, really beautiful too, man. Tell me about the course design. What's the idea on it? Who's going to be in charge of that? Yeah, what's the thought process, etc.?
Well, we have gotten Mike Olse to design this 18-hole course. It's looking at a very challenging par. Should be really nice to have.
Around par 65, we hope.
Yeah.
For those unaware, what's Mike Olse's background in course design?
If you've ever played Circle C, Roy G, East Metro, most recently the Ranch, I mean, you're talking about the best and hardest courses in Austin and around Central Texas. They're all done by Mike, and he's a good friend of ours, and I don't think there was anybody else we had in mind to do this. It was Mike or nobody.
How would you, what are some common aesthetics of his courses? Hard?
Yeah, they're all really hard. Yeah, you gotta, he will tell you where you're supposed to go and then make you think you're supposed to do something harder. Is the best, that's how I think his courses are.
He gives you the option to throw the most pure super pro shot, but it is set up like links golf in my opinion.
His courses will make you a better disc golfer. Just the skills you need to play on them or what you need to be on the pro tour. So if you can conquer the courses he designs, you can play with anybody in the world. And I think that's pretty rare for a lot of course designers who just typically, you know, kind of walk and put in what looks open and easy. He really pushes the boundaries on shapes and all that.
You know what really trips me out is the first time we came out here, how excited he was. When he started seeing trees.
Yeah.
And like
he
the
loves
back
trees.
nine back there are some 100-foot tall. Do you remember what kind of trees those were?
I think they're sycamores.
No, there's something else that it's such a beautiful section of the course that you're going to tee
Cottonwoods?
off.
Was it Cottonwoods?
Yeah, maybe it was Cottonwoods. You will tee off from Walnut Creek on that hole, but you look up and you're surrounded by like 7 or 8.
Can we get
tall.
Can we get a shot of just like, this is the grass. Once this place starts to get cleared out, this is what the fairways are going to look like when this grass starts coming in. So I don't know a course in Austin that looks like this.
Especially right now. We're coming upon the entrance to the big field. There's going to be a really nice hole that is par 4 that goes down to the water. But the view of this field is amazing. I mean, you're in the center city almost now. You can hardly hear.
Yeah, I mean, if for people
that even in town,
people that want to know, we're basically at Springdale and 290. So we're in what is North Austin, but it's right in the center of the Round Rock, kind of down to Buda, kind of metroplex. So
I mean, most north course is Wells Branch or Northtown, and then Bart. You have this huge radius that we're going to be in the center of.
So pretty much if you live within 20 minutes of Austin, you can get to this course from anywhere. It's in the center of it all.
Sweet. I believe this is where 16, 17, and 18 will tee off from.
Yep.
It's this tiny little field here.
Yeah, not very big.
Just a little bit of room here.
So everything on my right is Walnut Creek down there where the trees go down to that line. So we'll have some holes that go down there. And then this whole field will eventually get developed, I think, with Austin Beer Works plans. So that's for...
You can see the warehouse at the top.
Yeah, if you go down here, you can see
warehouse.
the future warehouse up top.
End-to-end tire, rugged end. I mean, you could have left a gap in any of these. He's like, nope, let's just butt them end in. You can see all the pink flags where Olse has marked some of the cut lines. So this is all starting. All happening already.
So I think that's a pretty good preview of some of the course. We're gonna go check out what is going to be hole 18, and we're also going to make our way to the new warehouse. We'll see you there. That'll be great for the...
Yeah, I need some B-roll. Like
Yeah, we need some Instagram shots. Woo.
Some of these.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I like to wiggle wiggle when I walk. I like to jiggle jiggle when I talk.
So we're walking up part of 18's fairway. It's going to be a par 5 that leads back up to the brewery. You can kind of see it through here. It's starting to go back uphill. There's a lot of little creeks and stuff that lead up to it. It should be a pretty epic finishing hole for we hope is the best course in Austin. Let's keep going. If you follow the part of this trail, will probably be part of the fairway, but you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel up there.
This whole 18 is gonna be so tough.
It's going uphill, and
Well, then there's a pond,
right here.
little baby pond that you go over too. A puddle, not a pond.
A poodle?
Puddle.
A poodle.
You know, poodles are not
What are poodles not?
doodles.
Doodles.
What?
Yeah, this is still part of 18. You have to go
Puddle.
over this pond. All right, so that was a good little preview of the course, we hope. We're gonna go check out what is the future beer garden and warehouse and storefront, at least on the outside, so y'all get a feel for what we'll be doing here. Let's go check it out. This way. So they've already got this, you can see the warehouse back here. They've already got this great little beer garden kind of already cleared out. A good kind of front lawn for everybody to hang out on. I'm sure we'll do some putting games here.
And just so you know, this grass is cartwheelable. You can do an uphill
Cart-
cartwheel if you want. No big deal.
Behind me is the warehouse. We'll be sharing this with Austin Beer Works. They're gonna be building out a really kick-ass kind of bar brewery in there. We're gonna have our storefront attached to it, and then we'll have a big kind of warehouse as part of this facility. So it'll be really an all-in-one spot for us. So on that note, coming up on December 13th, we are gonna have a bunch of things to celebrate our move. Basically, we don't want to have to move everything. So the entire storefront will be 40% off. We'll have the Glow Mustangs for sale for the first time. We're also going to have some limited Christmas boxes that have a very special Christmas Mustang stamp that you can only get in that box. So, get a horse noise? There we go. So make sure to check out mintdiscs.com on December 13th. We're gonna have a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully it's a good celebration. And we look forward to seeing y'all at the new property
Stay mint.
in 2023.
Downhill cartwheel?
Downhill cartwheel? I almost lost your mic. Without his cartwheel.